and welcome back to Remembery Lane. We're really sorry about that brief hiatus. Eden was just taking a little vacation for a while. Yeah, that 18 months just flew right by. So on today's show, we've decided to do one of our favorite childhood crafts, yet again. We're going to be making fun brochures. Brochures are really great because they're a really fun and creative way to show your imagination and tell your friends about your interests. So as you can see, we've gotten everything that we'll need, and your first basic tools, of course, are a pencil and an eraser. You're also going to need some colored cardstock, a glue stick. We would prefer to use rubber cement, but we couldn't find any at the dollar store this time, so we just have regular school glue. It's not as fun to snip. You'll also need some glitter, fun stickers, a pair of scissors, and if you're not so good at drawing, a magazine. Did you know that if you run out of a glue stick, you can use just a little bit of glitter glue or paint on the back of a picture to fasten it to your craft? Very cool. So you want to start by folding your cardstock. So we took our cardstock and we're making a brochure, and brochures have 3 pages. So we want to fold it 1, 2, and that makes 3 pages. The next thing that we're going to do is, now that we've decided what topic that we're going to do, we're going to plan our layout. It's very important to plan. It's very important to plan out your layout so that everything fits neatly and you don't have anything coming off the page and looking all higgledy-piggledy. So here we have our first one, and we've decided to do one on murder, a guide for the beginner serial killer. So here we have our title is in big, bold, capital letters and kind of in arch to draw your attention. Then we have a little image here of a man who's got a gun and a noose, and obviously Sarah L. is not the greatest artist in the world, so we're going to find a picture of a serial killer from a magazine or a textbook or something. No offense or anything, I mean, no, not everybody can be perfect like me. And then we have a little brief subtitle that tells us what we're going to be telling you. On the first page of your brochure, you always want to have some general information about what your brochure is about, and that is for the same reason. People aren't very smart, and even though they know that the title of the brochure is murder, they don't necessarily know that that's what you're going to be talking about. So you've got to tell them right here on this front panel. But it doesn't have to be that long, and you can actually fill up most of the space with a picture if you want. Did you know that if you're not very good at doing things like making neat letters or spelling correctly, you can use stickers in the shapes of the alphabet. And you can even find some stickers that say whole words for you so that you don't have to know how to spell. Okay, so now that we know where our information is going, the first place that we want to start embellishing is the cover. So we're going to start putting our stickers with different lettering on them, jewels, sparkles, any pictures that you may want to have to illustrate your point. Yes, if you're not good at drawing, like I said, Sarah's a really horrible drawer. Like, she can't even draw a stick man. It looks like a drunk kindergartner drawing with her eyes closed. But anyways, if you draw like Sarah L., you might want to cut pictures out of a magazine, like I've done. So this is a pamphlet about being cool, an instructional guide, because I'm really good at being cool, so I just wanted to share something I'm good at with my friends. So here's some pictures I've cut out of cool people. Now, it's really important to keep in mind that you're making a brochure, and this is the size of your brochure. So you want to make sure to choose pictures that are the right size for your brochure. So even though it might be the right subject matter, you should still probably pick a smaller image because it's a smaller kind of art project.
Remember, nail polish is great for painting your nails, but it's also a really handy craft supply that doesn't wash off of anything.
So now we've got our cover, and our cover is finished. We've got our lettering, we've got our information, we've got a nice picture and some embellishments to draw people's attention. So now it's time to start putting the information on the inside of the pamphlet.
Okay, so as Sarah said, you have to have an introduction, and there's other things that you can put inside that are very attractive to look at. Like you can have fancy stickers. You can also have lists, because they're really great because like they take up a whole bunch of space. And you don't have to like write full sentences because people can't read full sentences. Well, I can't read full sentences. And we also have some jewels and things like that. And another cool thing that you can put in, but I didn't have time to finish mine here, is that you can put graphs and charts. Like a pie graph is really cool, but you might have to be good at math.
And then, after you go over all your information on the inside with your felt tip marker or your Sharpie pen, you can take an eraser and get rid of all of the mistakes that you made underneath. Remember, kids, drinking hard liquor in massive quantities increases your creativity by 500%. You can also try having a smoke.
So now we have completed our brochure, and we've gone ahead and finished one up just so that we can show you what the finished product will look like.
So I went ahead and I made a brochure in honor of my sister Eden's recent vacation. So here we have a brochure entitled Prison Fun, Surviving a Trip to the Slammer. Don't you wish you'd had this brochure before that 18 months?
I sure do. Luckily, I got out on good behavior.
So, for our introduction, we've got a happy little policeman here, and this very cheerful, informative write-up about your first time going to prison.
Getting sent to prison doesn't have to be unpleasant or feel like punishment. In this brochure, we'll cover a few basic steps that will ensure your time in the big house is a good time.
You're going to want to know how to do stuff. So here we've got a nice informative section on know how to conceal a weapon. That's very important for a place like prison. So bodily orifices, such as your anus or the insides of your cheeks, can provide an excellent hiding spot for small weapons such as a pocket knife or handgun. Shoelaces will be taken, but the soles of your shoes can provide a nifty spot to hide thin weapons such as piano wire or fishing line.
Everyone's got that kicking around, right?
And then last but not least, once you're actually in the joint, cutlery is a man or a woman's best friend. So make sure that you take that fork and you shove it up your sleeve, because it's going to serve you better in the middle of the night against your burly cellmate than it's going to do for your noodles at dinner.
Next we have this fun chart on the barter system in prison. So at the top we have your anus and or your anal virginity. This is of course your most important asset. You don't want to trade this. It's the last resort. Under this, we have favors from staff and outsiders, and drugs of any kind from anywhere. And I cannot stress that enough. Any kind, from anywhere. On the bottom rung here, we have smoke. Cigarettes and cigars are popular as a barter system, trading and also photos of family or pornography, but preferably they're separate. And candy. But of course, we have a note here that states that this system may vary depending on your prison location or personal priorities. For example, I would definitely rate candy to be much more important than my anal virginity. It says personal preference.
And then last but not least, we want to leave you with some fun but informative information. So what we put here was, don't drop the soap. 3 common myths about prison revealed. Dropping the soap won't get you raped. Nope. Contrary to popular belief, inmates actually prefer privacy when sexually attacking other inmates. Our second myth revealed is that toothbrushes don't actually make a good weapon. Although whittling down an oral hygiene device might work in the movies, hiding a pocket knife in your rectum is much more effective. And last but not least, toilet wine is not better than nothing. Believe it or not, prison staff will actually acquire alcohol for inmates in certain amounts, as long as it's requested. So you could go ahead and make liquor in the toilet, but why would you want to?
So we have, of course, on the back included the information that disclaimer. Do not follow any advice in this pamphlet or any other Eden and Sarah L. brochure. And for kids at home watching, please do not follow any of the information given in this or any other Eden and Sarah L. brochure.
Or instructional video.
Yeah. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in for another fantastic episode of Remembery Lane. It's so great to be back and out of my orange jumper.
And just to give you a couple of ideas for your own fun brochures, we're going to leave you with a few of the fun brochures that we've made since Eden's been back. Well, I mean, it was your own fault in the first place.
I didn't know it was a public place.